Today we're going to get to ride our RD400 on what turned out to be a super hot day. It just blew me away when I saw how quickly it got hot. And I was always keeping in the back of my mind that last time I overheated the bike and burned up a piston. I have that piston on my desk to remind me on hot days, don't hold it wide open for more than 5 minutes. Anyway, lesson well learned. Anyway, today it is a very hot day and we are ready. We're going to check the bike out, pre-flight it, make sure we got two-stroke oil, among other things. Do a final check of the weather, and we will be out on the open road soon. Today the weather's supposed to really get hot by lunchtime, so I want to get out of here nice and early. I want to get out on the open road and really try to avoid that really hot middle of the day that we have here this time of year. But either way, I do want to get out on the open road. But of course the first thing every day is to move the motorcycles around. Always the one you want is blocked in. Now getting ready for a two-stroke day is just a little more work than average. It's in the most awkward part of the garage where you have to back the motorcycle out. Well, we can live with things like that. We got to do a thorough check, tire pressure, and the most important thing, we don't run out of two-stroke oil. Even though I do carry a little container with me, and I always put a little bit of oil in the gas, a small amount, a couple ounces, every time I fill up, because I just don't want to take a chance. And that's the one vulnerable thing you can do is if you run out of two-stroke oil or you seize up the bike, the ride is pretty much over. And I always take a quick look at this piston. This was from a ride we went on with Joe Roselli, and seized up the bike. You can see the hole in the piston. And this ruined everybody's whole day. We had to go get the truck and go bring it back. Muriatic acid the cylinders, get a new set of pistons. Don't want to have that happen today. Okay, boys, who wants to go two-stroking today? Come on. You gotta eat, you gotta fill up your two-stroke oil if you want to go. Come on, let's go. Final weather report before we head out. It is hot already, and it's going to get even hotter. And as you can imagine, when you have a two-stroke, hot is not your best friend. Now, Luciano, Mark Morgan, and myself, we have had some of the most fun days out on our two-strokes. There's just, every time I'm out on this bike, I just get memories of those rides and memories of back in the 70s. Now, back in the 70s, I had a good friend named John that had a Sportster, and it would make him crazy that this little buzz bomb used to give his bike fits. He could never pass us, and then when we got into the twisty roads, he was really impressed, but we always remained good friends. And back in the 70s, I had at one time 7 of these in my collection, and all 350s, of course. Ray has the race bike down in Florida, the real one, but then just recently, about 10 years ago, Karen bought me this for Valentine's Day, and I fell in love with this bike, and I still love it. And to me, the bike really is a time machine that takes me back. And in my mind, when I'm riding this bike and going through the gears and pretending I'm Valentino Rossi and whoever, it doesn't even matter. The bike is a fun bike to ride, and just going through those gears in town or on the highway, so much fun. Now, my next upgrade for this bike, probably not too long from now, is going to be to get a set of the replica K81 tires. I talked to Bob V about how happy he was with the tires. I think they'll be a nice little upgrade, and the bike is due for tires soon anyway, so that'll be a nice upgrade. And back in the AMAR racing days, those K81 tires were the tires of choice for pretty much for all of the bikes in the 410 class, and maybe even for some of the heavier bikes, I don't know, but I only raced in the 410 class. I've had this bike coming up on 10 years. I got it for a Valentine's Day present. And this is the funniest thing of all. When we went down to buy this bike, the kid, I didn't want to take a test ride. I made him do it, and all he did was a big wheelie with it. But it has been a good friend with over 10,000 miles on it. Those tires have over 10,000 miles. They're really due for an upgrade. And we're supposed to have a 2-stroke day with Luciano and his Honda 2-stroke, but on those ball tires, I'm not so sure. We're going to do it anyway, of course, but I'd like to have the tires on. Now, lucky for me, I have oodles and oodles of spare parts for this bike. Pistons, cylinders, a crank, 2 extra exhaust systems, 2 tuned exhaust systems, and 1 extra seat, of course, and oodles of little parts. And my objective is to keep the bike in as nice condition as I can forever. Any place I've ever ridden a bike, taken it to meetups, or just gone on rides and parked it by a stop, or get gas. Even when you pump gas, the guys come up, what is that? Never saw one of them up. And if you go to Motorcycle Mall with it, almost nobody in Motorcycle Mall knows what it is. They think it's a flying saucer. Now I have 2 tuned exhaust systems for this bike, and they were really obnoxiously loud. You get more power and everything, but boy, oh boy, when you go through these residential areas, you are not the most popular guy in the world. And anyway, this one, the bike really runs great with the stock exhaust. But toward the end of this ride, it really got obnoxiously hot, and there was no wind blowing. Even when you stopped to take a picture, you could just sit there cooking in a frying pan. But anyway, as with all rides, it's time to turn around and head back, and I'm sure Karen will have a nice iced drink for me, and we sit out on a porch and discuss the family affairs. But I am going back. This is the end of my being in the 70s for today. Boy, it really got hot quick today, and I was really thinking about that piston with the hole in it for the whole ride, but somehow we escaped. I don't know. Maybe we're just lucky. Anyway, never have a bad time with this bike. When I come home, I always have a smile on my face, and I'm ready for some iced lemonade right now, and Karen's making it as we speak. So, hope you did enjoy sharing this day in our life with us. And even Karen says, whenever you ride the RD, you come home and you're always laughing and giggling and telling me stories. And it's like I'm a kid again. But it really is a time machine. That's really not too far-fetched. And, of course, in your mind, if you're having a great time, it's certainly better than a day on Rikers Island. That's for sure. Now, of course, the whole objective of my little motorcycle collection, humble motorcycle collection is what I call it, is to ride them. I enjoy a lot of aspects to socializing and to working on the bikes and all the mechanical things. But the one thing I enjoy more than anything else, the one thing I enjoy is just getting out on the open road every day, getting my exercise, my fresh air. And my little bike collection seems to keep that very interesting to me. It gives me a little taste of motorcycling from every 10-year period. And in a roundabout way, it has kept me young. And I'm going to be 77 probably in a month, about a little more than a month. But that's amazing. We try to post up a video almost every day relating to motorcycles, riding them, working on them, whatever. And our two strokes are certainly one part of that. And thanks so much for watching.